Good morning. Welcome to the 4D webinar series. I'm Brian Young, Technical Marketing Manager here at 4D. We're going to have a quick introduction, get into a 20-minute presentation, and take questions at the end. As you have questions, please feel free to type those into the GoToWebinar question box down here, and we'll go over as many of those as we can.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to 4D webinar series. Today we will be covering the topic of styling list box. My name is Ad Gomontarensari, and I will be your presenter for today. Now, the title of this session is Style List Box Sales for Clarity. There are three important points that I want to cover for today, and it's going to make things a lot clearer for you as we go along. The very first thing is, how do we improve the visibility of the data of the list box? Now, there are many features that we have added over the years that improve the look and feel of the list box, as well as refine the clarity of the data. Those enhancements really helps the developer to establish and accomplish the way we present the data to the user. At the end, we will end up with a result that is rich, very easy to understand, and the data that we presented to the user is much more effective. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the slides, so let's get to it. Let's take a look at some of our example and what we have to offer. Now here's an example of a simple form and one single list box. We have three columns. Now all the information now displaying as a plain text. Nothing special. We can enhance it a little bit by adding something like background color. Now maybe this might be a little bit too dark and it's not contrast enough. We can also give it a contrast by creating an alternate row color. To do so, you have three separate options, or three different options. Option 1, you can predefine this option, background color, as well as alternate row color, at the list box level. Now, if you decided that you want each column to have separate colors, you may do so. The same property is available at the column level property as well. And this option can be done to an array-based list box as well as selection-based list box. Now we have option number 2, but it is strictly available for array-based list box. Now in the property list, you'll see that there is another option available underneath alternate background color. You may now define your array that will be used to specify the color code for each element in your list box. This option is very convenient because if at any time that you want to make changes, you can apply different color to every element, to single element, or any particular elements that you would like. Now let's take a look at how it works. Here we have set up a similar list box that you saw earlier with some additional features on the form. Let's make some changes to the background color here, and perhaps one for alternate row color. So go ahead and set that. You can see that the color changed according to my setting. I can also set them to be exactly the same color. Now let's suppose we do the alternate row color in reverse. But this time, let's take a look at how it works behind the scenes. Now, as you can see, we have a simple code where I take the color code in hex value, convert the value with this method, RGB hex to decimal, which is available on our knowledge base. You may go to the knowledge base now and do a search for hex to decimal, and you'll find it. Once I have the values, I will assign it to specific elements in the array. In this case, I alternate every row for each color. Let's go ahead and run this. Now you see that the changes that I made is applied to the list box. Now let's take a look at option number 3. Now let's say instead of using the array, we'll go ahead and use the command instead. And the very nice thing about having the command available for you is for the fact that, let's suppose you create a list box dynamically. You apply your column or insert your column at runtime. Of course, there's no way for you to predefine those array to the list box property. In this case, you're only left with one choice, is to apply those changes through the command. And this is the command listbox set row color. It's going to work in a similar fashion. So let's go back to the same example with one exception. The code that we are going to run behind the set button is going to utilize the command instead of the array. Well, let's take a look at this example, and we'll make some changes to something else. This time we will do a trace. Take a look at the code again. As you can see, everything else in this method is the same except the line where we did the array assignment. Replace it with the command listbox set row color. We'll go ahead and run it. And you can see that we have established and accomplished the same exact task with a different approach. Now, if you don't like it, you can clear it out. Now let's move on to the next example here, using the same exact list box. Now, given some of the things that we have done in the past, it is now possible for us to actually inject some sort of conditional to the list box. For example, you may find yourself that you have to do a search within your list box and display it to the user in a way that they can find it very easily. So this is one of them. We can do a search by range of the earnings and apply appropriate row color to those that falls within the condition. You can also apply this change to only to the column. It doesn't have to be to the whole rows, which makes it really convenient. Now, this is one of the examples. Of course, we only have 3 columns. Imagine if you have multiple columns that you want to apply a particular cell color to. This feature makes it possible. Now, here we have another example. A list box that looks just like what we saw earlier. This time we will apply a few things to it, such as color to the data, bold, make it italic, and give it an underline to all the data. Now, these options are available not only to the list box, but to the individual column as well. There are a few options in 4D that you can do this. Now, let's take a look at some of them. Now, the first options, it is done inside of your property list. Now, this option is available, once again, as I mentioned earlier, not only to the list box, but to the individual column. In V14, however, we add a few items into the text section. Similar to the background and border, where you can dynamically make changes to the background color, we have added the row style array. Now the array is where you make changes or assign particular style to each element of the list box. And you can also apply each color to the font. Makes it really, really efficient. And this is a great complement to what Listbox has to offer as far as making things more visible and more clear to the user. Now let's take a look at the actual example that actually utilized those things that we have just talked about. Here is a list box with 5 columns. Basically, we break the information up from the previous list box to make it more distinctive. The company displaying their performance earning within a given month, namely the current month, as well as up to date within that year. Now, if you look at the information right now, it's very plain. The color is black, the background is white, not really user friendly. We can enhance that by applying some of those changes that we have talked about earlier. So here we go. Now, if you look at the data now, it's more distinctive. Information is much more user friendly. The user can actually find information much more effectively and fast. Information about the company is performing really well or displaying in green and in bold to the company name itself, city, and state. For those who are not doing well, the company, city, and state are appear as gray, and you see that the amount of their earning is listed in red. Even worse, if they're really in critical state, the amount is underlined. So these are the things that you can use to really enhance the user experience and make your data is more visible to the user. Now here's how I'm doing it. A smaller screenshot of the code that I used to apply to the last column here. For every element, I will check the value of their earning. If it fits particular range, I will apply specific bold, italic, or even including underline based on their performance. And the color, of course, the color will signify how they're doing and makes it really visible to the user. Now we can also use another option, which is available via commands, similar to the background color. Set row style, uh, set row font style is another command that you can use to apply particular style to each element of the list box. And we come back to the set row color again, which is the command that you use to apply a particular background color. But this time we will use it to apply the font color. What it looks like using the command, there you go. In a similar fashion with as the one that we use to assign the array, we replace those array assignment with the command, and all the conditional statements are exactly the same. Now let's take a look at another example. Here we have a hierarchical list box. Now for those of you who are familiar with list box but never use this feature, I would really recommend for you to start looking into it. It's a very efficient way to display your data. It allows you to group things together in a more productive and effective manner. And especially if you have a really tight space on your form and you have to display more data than you have the room to accommodate that. This is one of the best features to do that, just that. In this case, we want to enhance the look and feel of this hierarchical list box. The first thing I want to do is point it out that I leave the grid line, horizontal grid line on the list box on purpose, just to make sure that it has some separation between rows. But I don't really like the way it looked because I feel like it's a little bit more messy and really cluttery. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. Okay, now it looks a little bit better, but still it looks really bare bone. That is, nothing for me to identify which group that I am seeing. So given some of the technique that we have used in the earlier example, I'm going to go ahead and enhance the look and feel of this list box right now. Now we are talking. We are seeing information more distinctively. Information about the company, how well they're doing, how poor they're doing, and actually clearly visible to the user. And as you can see, if you collapse something, everything collapses along with it. And this is one of the great thing about using hierarchical list box. And now we have just enhanced it um, to to make sure that we give the user the best visibility of the data possible. Now let's take a look at another example then. Now here we have a list box with 4 columns. As you can see, it's very tight. Uh, all the information is kind of squeezed in together because it's not enough room. And the goal for this is to make sure that all the data is clearly visible to the user. But right now, we're not doing a very good job because of information is kind of tied together. As I'm resizing the column, you can see information gets shifted. And actually, that is the effect of 4DV14 list box. It does automatically truncate information that does not fit within the given width of the column. This is the same thing as the text box as well. If your text does not fit within the given space, it will automatically truncate. Okay. Now, how do we do this? How do we improve the visibility of this list box? I'm going to go ahead and increase the size of the row. That's a good idea. Okay, that's the first step. It looks like we have some information clearly displayed now. Each cell, there are 3 lines of text. The top line seems to be the title. The middle line seems like a body, and the bottom is like the footer, showing the posted date. But you can see the middle line for each cell is still getting truncated, and that's not what we want. What we want is to have everything display inside the cell, clearly display and fit inside the cell without having to see the truncation. Now in V14, we have addressed that issue for you. We have provided you with an option to perform word wrapping. And this is the option to the actual column itself. Once you have that option enabled, your text will get displayed inside the cell as is. You can see that information is now clearly visible everywhere. There's nothing gets truncated or gets cut off. But again, the goal is to make sure that we have a better visualization of the data, create richness to the data. So we want to improve this. We can do better. The one thing that this box does support, similar to the text field or text variable, is the ability to deal with multi-style text. Now, as you can see right now, everything is in a plain text. When I apply the style text, it will look something like this. Information is now better. It is more visible to the user. It's easy to the eye. It looks much more professional. It allows bits and pieces, even inside the cell, in the cell itself, to be distinguishable to the user. Now, with some of the options that we have talked about, such as background color, we can even create an effect of the user clicking in the cell. This is very, very effective use of the features of the style text inside the list box. I'm going to flash to you really quickly of what it looks like in the raw form. So that is what it looks like. But again, this is something that can be done very easily. You can predefine some of these options using the built-in style text feature that we have. And then once it gets displayed inside the list box, that's what you'll have, which is nice, professional, and presentable to the user. In other words, it really increased productivity to the user. Okay, I think we are ready for the Q&A.
Thank you, Ad. Before we get into the questions, I just want to talk about the Summit 2014 coming up in October 28th and 29th. We've announced that the pre-class on the 27th is going to be Migration with the Experts. We have a number of topics, including conversion, optimization, troubleshooting, modern UI, and all the topics are covered with an eye towards using the latest and greatest features of 4D. We really would love everyone to come out and join us. We've got a number of promotions going on for partners as well as earlier bird pricing, which is going to end at the end of July. So take a look into that. In your thank you letter, I will send a link to all of the information you need to know to see whether you can come join us for our 30th anniversary. Okay, Ad's going to get to these questions in just a second, but as a reminder, if we don't answer your question or you are unable to ask it during this session, please go ahead and send your question to webinar@4d.com. We'd love to answer them. Okay, Ad, Q&A?
So let's see. Okay, is there a way to set the formatting color for individual cells? Yes, I think I have shown that in the demos. Um, Starting in V14, there's a couple of options that you can see um, to apply particular format. Not format, I'm sorry. I would say style. Formatting is a little bit different. Right now, let me just step back. I meant to say you can do it with the style, but not formatting. Let's say if you have numeric data, you can't individually set the format unless you convert them into text, and then you can apply any kind of format to that text value, especially utilizing the rich, the multi-style option. The second question, let's see, the hierarchical example, is that only the array-based list box? Yes, that option is available to just the array-based list box. Is there an option to, let's see, is there a get best row size command in V14? There is none. Everything that is going to return you with the best size will be based on the width. You can still kind of guess the best height by the font that you're using. It's tricky, but it's doable. But there's no particular command that you can use. Now, how did you add the style text titles to the last example? It basically the whole cell is set to, well, the whole column is set to support multi-style. So the content itself is basically a multi-style text. Individual pieces of the paragraph or sentences can be broken up, and then you can apply individual. If I'm sorry, excuse me. You can apply individual style to even a character or multiple characters within a given cell also. So it's not really a separation of the title, body, and the footer within a cell. Everything is one single data within a cell. It's a matter of you organizing them and apply particular style to them. Let's see. Where do we get RGB hex to decimal? Okay, that's the command that actually is a method. It's not a command. It is available on the knowledge base. The name of the method on the knowledge base might not be exactly the same, but what you can do is go to the knowledge base, which is kb.4d.com. Look for the keyword RGB, and there will be a bunch of articles that will come up. Some of them will be a conversion from hex value to decimal. Another one would be from decimal to hex. I don't recall on top of my head of the number. I apologize. Now, let's see. Variable height per row in list boxes. Um, Currently, we cannot do it. That is, all heights are global setting. So if you set particular height to the list box, it applies to all row. We cannot do independent row height at the moment, but this is something that we're looking into in the future version. In single line cells, is there any way to have 4D not use ellipses when having the text truncated? No. Unfortunately, that is the default behavior. Because it's truncated, it needs to have some sort of indication that the text is truncated. Otherwise, um, uh, you're probably going to see that the text will run off to the right hand side and not seeing at the end of the text. Uh, I, understand the question. Unfortunately, this is the current behavior. We can look into it in the future version as well. Okay, here's another question about the background cell. This is, let me read it out. And when you clicked in the cell, how did you change the background color of that cell? Well, basically, the effect that you see, as you already imagine, every time when I click on a cell, I apply the background color. And I also maintain the last selected cell so that if I'm selecting another cell, I will set a neutral color, which is white, to the previously selected cell, and then the current selected cell to blue or light blue, whichever you would like it to be. Is there a way to programmatically switch a list box selection type between single and multiple selection? At the moment, no. This is the default. This is the setting that has to be done in the property list, unfortunately. This is, I saw cell by cell font coloring, but did we show cell by cell background color control? I believe we did. Especially in a couple of, it's kind of subtle, but it was part of a few of the example. Probably the last one is is the more obvious one when I set when every time when I click on particular cell, I will set a highlight to that cell. Basically, I set the background color. I click on another cell, I remove the last color from the cell that I selected, and then set the color to the current cell that I selected. Again, this is another question about independent row height at the moment. It looks like we should be able to do it. Unfortunately, we cannot have independent row height. Definitely, this is something that we look into for the future version of the list box, and we understand the need of it. But yeah, somebody just posted the RGB article. Guy, thank you, Guy. That's the article with the number. So 76379 is the name of the article on the knowledge base. You guys can just go there and copy and paste it into your own code and start using it. Is there any Okay, is there any Is there a benefit to using 4D list box formatting commands over using styling arrays or vice versa? Um, there's a different needs for it. I would say applying styling into an array and applying just a format. A style you can do many things within a given cell. Let's put it that way. Formatting, when you applying particular format, it applies to the whole cell. And at the moment, if you're doing any formatting to a cell, it actually you're doing it to the column itself. For example, what I just mentioned earlier, if you have numeric value, those are the things that would be an ideal to have formatting, like currency format or something like that. Now, styling, you can actually apply particular style to individual pieces of information within the given cell. So in one cell, you can have many style that represent your data to make it more distinctive. Now, can you change row colors dynamically in a selection-based list box? At the moment, no. That option is available only in the array-based list box. Now, being new to V14, is it possible to use list boxes as output layouts to various tables, records? Definitely. Many people have used it because of the way listbox is built. You can offer you can bind columns to individual fields. The whole list box can be based on your selection from a table, as well as it support by default it's an array based. So yes, there are many ways that you can utilize listbox to do exactly the same thing as your output form. Plus, it gives you many features that's automatic, like sorting on a header footer as well. You can apply calculation. I've seen many project that uses listbox as an output form. Let's see, I'm trying to go. Now, is there a demo database showing this? I think you are asking if this individual demo database will be available. I don't see why not. I mean, we can make it available at one point, perhaps in a form of tech node or part of the demo database. But definitely, a lot of the stuff that you see on the screen, and I try to put as much information about how I put together on the screen itself already. But we can try to make that available to you, hopefully in the near future. There's nothing secretive about it. All right, thank you everybody, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation today, and we'll see you next time.